Well, good morning, your Entrepreneur News Minute for today, November 13th, 2024. Phil Greenwood, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Wisconsin School of Business. Okay, saw this article today. Actually, they're in a website that had referred to an article, The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist. And it was an article, an interview with Mark Coopersmith, a venture capitalist, instructor at UC Berkeley on entrepreneurship. And it was on the role of venture capital and fusion technology. And just some thoughts on this. The article was it was just an interview and just talked about how this is going to be, if it works, going to be magnificent for society, but it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money. The way I want to look at this today is to view it from a standpoint of investing in these not unproven technologies, but new technologies that there's still a lot of uncertainty around. So some thoughts for and against investment in fusion research, especially from a perspective of an angel investor or a venture capitalist. Some things that are in favor of venture capital investments. It's growing in interest, and there's a lot of money that's already been invested, and and future rounds to be invested. So anytime there's interest in an industry, you always want to take a look at it. Almost $1 billion in last year were invested in fusion research by venture capital firms, so you don't want to be left out. Secondly, incredibly ambitious timelines that are being put out by the fusion companies, fusion technology companies, and they have had a number of breakthroughs both at the government level and also privately. Some of these companies are saying they'll be able to have fusion research, have fusion reactors by the 2030s or so. So it's not far off, like in a decade. If this works and you're in early enough, tremendous return potential. So something to think about. When you get in at the initial stage of a new technology, a new wave, can lead to a whole bunch of returns. And finally, the government is also going to be there to backstop. They have put a bunch of money into it, and they will continue to put a bunch of money into it, both through universities and private research. Now, why not to invest in something like this? Well, I think it's pretty apparent. This is fusion research. Nuclear fusion has been, since the hydrogen bomb, the late 40s, early 50s, we've been talking about it. And I remember as a kid growing up in the 60s and 70s, the promise of nuclear fusion, if it ever came about. So it's been 50, almost 60 years of hearing about the promise of fusion research, and it still seemed like a ways off. Also, it's taken a lot of money, and it's going to take a ton more money. So even if you invest now, you may have to, put in a lot more capital as an investor. There's other clean technologies out there. There's natural gas. There's solar. There's wind. Small nuclear reactors, the small module reactors they're talking about. All of these things, they all have their pluses and minuses, but it's not like fusion's the only clean technology out there. Also, as we see with governments, we have new governments come and go, both in the United States and around the world. Always going to be regulatory uncertainties. We never really know for sure. What do I think about this? Again, I'm not educated. I'm not in the field, but just for looking afar and comparing it to previous new technologies, it's been around for a long time. To think that it'll be ready to go in the 2030s. Yeah, timeline could be a little off. And the reason why that's important, if you invest now as a venture capital fund and you have 10 years for your fund, you may not see the exit that you want to see. So it's still really uncertain. And as always, put money in the tool makers, not necessarily in the final fusion reactor companies. Those people that make the tools for the fusion companies might be the ones who really you can make some good money with now. And another thing is, maybe don't throw all your money into fusion research, but what we call the old dip your toe into it philosophy. Just a little bit at a time, spread it around, and reduce your risk until we have more clarity on where this research and this industry is really going to go. Have a great day.